big shout out to Tuscaloosa Ford for allowing me to shoot this vehicle. If you're looking for any other Ford vehicle, hit them up, ask for my guy Jay Spates, and they'll get with you. Thanks again. Enjoy the review. All right, so we're gonna start with the styling for the 2023 Ford Raptor, the Gen 3 model. So the Gen 3 styling began in 2021, and it's still the same styling here in 2023 for the 2023 model year. But again, it looks very nice. You have a new revised front fascia with new headlights, new grille, still have the LED side markers in the top of the grille and on the front sides of the fenders because of, again, how wide this truck is at just under 80 inches or right at 80 inches. At the rear of the truck, you also have revised tail lights, revised Ford logo that stretches across the back of the tailgate. Again, it's pretty nice. If you opt for the Raptor graphics package, that is also revised for the Gen 3 model year, but this one obviously does not have that, and I think it looks pretty good without the graphics package. It still looks just as noticeable of a Raptor with or without it, and if I were to get one, I'd probably prefer it without it, but again, that's been revised for 2023 as well as some different wheels, and I think the wheels look pretty good as well. So I think it's a better looking truck overall, and it looks the part, and you know it's a Raptor from a mile away. So alright, so under the hood of the 3rd gen Raptor, you have the 3rd generation 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6. It makes 450 horsepower and 510 foot-pounds of torque. If you care about MPGs, it gets about 15 miles per gallon city, 18 miles per gallon on the highway. And if you get the optional 37-inch tires, then you'll lose 1 MPG for each one of those metrics. The suspension for the 3rd gen Raptor saw the introduction of bigger and better Fox racing shocks with live valve technology, which essentially allows the dampening to be adjusted electronically as it reacts to, whatever terrain the Raptors may see. So whether it's high-speed sand dunes or rock crawling or whatever the case may be, these are some bigger and better shocks to handle the task. In the rear, also they have a 5-link rear suspension, which also has 24-inch coil springs. And hooked up to all that is the 17-inch wheels and these 35-inch tires, which brings you 12 inches of ground clearance. You can also opt for the Raptor 37 package, which gives you 37-inch tires and also gives you about 1 inch more of ground clearance. Now with all that, let's have a listen at this 3.5 liter V6. All right, so here inside the interior on the 2023 Raptor is a really nice interior to be in. So first off, I want to say I haven't always been a fan of Ford interiors, or at least I say F-150 interiors. So I personally own a Ram Rebel 1500, and I was actually in between that truck and a F-150, not a Raptor, but a F-150 for what I was going to use as my daily. One of the biggest deciding factors at the time was the interior. My Ram was a 2019, so I was looking at 2019s and 2020s around the time. But the interior was a really big selling point for me. And I haven't always loved Ford interiors. So here in the 2023 for the Gen 3, they've done a great job at making this interior a bit more nicer to be in. I always felt like, even though most, American vehicles and a lot of modern vehicles have a lot of plastic, I always felt like the F-150 interior was a bit too plasticky for me. And even when it is very plasticky, I at least like the plastics to look good or to look a certain way. I always felt like the F-150's interiors weren't really up to par when it came to the look side. So here inside this F-150 Raptor, I will say the Gen 3 for the 2023 model year, they've really done a great job with making the interiors look a whole lot better. I mean, the 12-inch display here to the right, you have the full digital dash behind the steering wheel. You do have a lot of hard buttons here, which is good. I do see here on the temperature control knobs, before they had the chip shortages, thanks to COVID, these are actually screens that would give you digital readouts, but that was one of the things they took away when they didn't have the chips, when they had the chip shortage. But all in all, the interior is very nice. They have a Bang & Olufsen sound system in here, the speakers in the headrest. So we're gonna crank that up and see how it sounds. I'm sure it sounds pretty good. But again, man, you have the paddles behind the steering wheel that look really good. You have Raptor engraved here on the steering wheel as well. You have the speakers up here and in the dash. So this interior is definitely nicer than some of the F-150s that I was originally looking at. And had the interior look like this, who knows, maybe I would have gone with the F-150 instead. But again, so that's not to say that this interior doesn't have a lot of plastic. It does have a lot of plastic here, but a lot of the way they style it and the way it's laid out here in the interior does look really good. So then you have the shift knob, which is the folded, the shift knob that you press the button in. As you can hear, it lets the shifter down. Now, I'll say that that doesn't look or sound great. It's kind of rickety, so to speak, and it's very loud and kind of crunchy. It doesn't seem the most high quality, but it is really cool. So when you press the button to let the shift knob down, then you can fold this center console flat, and it acts as like a workbench or a work table if you have to have your laptop, if you need to eat, to take a break, whatever. And I actually think that's a dope feature. I wish my truck had something like that, but it's a dope feature. Again, the interior is a very nice place. They've definitely done a great job with updating for the 2023 year model. I think it looks really good. I think it looks the part. So we're gonna take this thing for a drive and see how she gets on. All right, so here in the 2023 Raptor, one of the first things I noticed is that these tires are really, really knobby. These are all-terrain. But again, this truck is designed to go off-road, so that's to be expected. But I can say that I do feel the tires through the seat, through the wheel, but the ride is smooth. It is a very smooth riding truck, I'll say. But to have the all-terrains on there, I mean, you do feel them, but again, it's made to go off-road, so you gotta have some give and some take there. So normally you like to test a vehicle in its natural habitat. And let's be real, most of the time when you see Raptors, they're not making huge jumps. They're not going through mud and rock crawling up hills. Usually when you see them, they're on the street. A lot of times these are garage queens or pavement princesses, and that's just the reality of it. But here on the road, I mean, this is a very smooth truck. I really like the red stitching on the steering wheel to give you the center line. I think it's cool. I think that's dope. But again, a lot of times you see these, they're just on regular roads. They're not doing anything spectacular, and I think that's how most people who buy them are going to use them. Because I mean, this is a very expensive truck. This one is tested as over $80,000. So a lot of people don't want to take that $80,000 truck and send it off the side of anything or send it through mud and have to worry about getting on their stuff. But a lot of people do. Regardless, this truck is one that can handle it. So we'll give this thing a little acceleration and see how that twin turbo V6 pulls. Oh yeah. All right, so again, we are not in the Raptor R. We don't have that supercharged 5.2 liter V8 from the GT500, but regardless of that, this thing, when you put your foot down, it moves. This is over a 5,000 pound truck. And the twin turbo V6, when you floor it, it really, once that boost kicks in, it really kicks down again and it pulls. So it's fast for a truck. But if we're being honest, we really want Ford to put the Coyote in this truck. I mean, I understand that from a power to weight ratio, and when you're going off road, you need lightness, and an already 5,000 pound truck, having a V8 in there with even more weight than this V6 has, you know, is obviously probably not the best option. But at the end of the day, you know, again, most people aren't going to really be using these to do a ton of off-road things. That are going to drive them around, you know, whether it be a status symbol or whether they really just think it's a cool truck. But at the end of the day, I think most people really would like to see is Ford offer this variant with just a 5 liter. You can get the V6s in the standard F-150, but you can also get the 5 liter V8 in the standard F-150. And I wonder how much trouble it would be to offer the Gen 4 5 liter Coyote motor inside one of these. I mean, the V8 and the Raptor, they just belong together. If you look at the Raptor of the first gen, it had the V8 in it as well. And so people really wanted Ford to put the V8 back in. And they did for the R, but again, that's over $100,000 for a truck, and most people realistically aren't going to be able to buy that. And you can say most people realistically can't buy one of these either, but regardless, I'm sure people would like the option just to put the 5 liter in here. So this truck here is optioned with, as you can probably see, the sun coming through the panoramic sunroof. I mean, at the end of the day, while this is a 5,000 pound off-road machine, this is also, to me, a luxury vehicle. I mean, you can just cruise along here. I feel like on long road trips, I really like taking my truck on long road trips. So taking this on a long road trip would just seem like a dream. You have plenty of space in the back, ample amount of leg room, even when I'm sitting behind myself. Even if there was somebody tall in the front seat, there's so much leg room in the back. You don't really have to worry about your passengers, you know, being cramped back there after a really long ride. Those seats are also heated. It's extremely comfortable. So, you know, you really this truck is meant to be a do-it-all, be-it-all truck. It's meant to, you know, take your family to work or to church, or take them on road trips. You can daily it if you got the pockets to spend for all the fuel you're gonna consume. But you can daily this truck, and you can take it on long road trips. And then when you're gonna have some fun, you can take this thing off-road, send it off a hill, send it over a hill. You can do whatever with it. It's that versatile of a truck. Let's see how she gets on. Give it a little brake boost. So for the 2023 model year, Ford did something different with the exhaust to make it sound a bit better. V6s aren't necessarily known for sounding the best, but Ford gave this engine a bit more of a trumpety sound that sounds, you know, honestly, it does sound a lot like the Nissan GTR or maybe like the VQ motors from Nissan. But again, this sounds really good. It's very loud. Those tips are huge coming out of the back. But it definitely sounds a lot better to me than the Gen 2s. Still doesn't sound better than the V8, but I digress. This V6 does sound good. It sounds really, really good once you got your foot in and it's moving along. And when it shifts through, nice job, nice job. All right, guys, so a short drive here, man. Not a whole lot to be surprised about. I mean, the Raptor's good on road. What more do you expect? But it's great off-road. Again, this isn't one of the reviews. We're going to take it and thrash it off-road. But again, man, on-road, it's a great truck. It's fun to drive. It's a head turner. Everybody who you pass, they look at it, and it feels good. And again, it is quick. It is a quick truck for what it is. So if you really need some fun and you want some speed, it works for that as well, man. But I mean, is the Raptor still, you know, is it worth it? Is it worth getting when the Raptor R is out? Well, yeah, for one, like I said, if you can't afford it, if you can't afford the Raptor R, then absolutely the regular Raptor is the way to go. But also, you know, just as a usable truck, I mean, it's all-time world-class. As a fun truck, it's still all-time world-class. Let's not forget that even though the Raptor R is out, the Raptor has always been the Raptor with the V6. The moment the V6, the Gen 2s came out, everybody loved, you know, the capability of it. They might not love the way it sounded, and some people didn't love the V6, but they couldn't deny that the Raptor was a really great truck, and I'm not going to deny it either. Thanks again for watching this review. Shout out to my guy Jay Spates over at Tuscaloosa Ford. If you're looking for this Raptor or any other Raptor or any other Ford, hit Jay Spates up at Tuscaloosa Ford. Thanks again for the opportunity, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.